Hey use, considering my ideas which I've explained in my other videos, I would enforce the following to create great societies. Self-sufficiency. A. Racial self-sufficiency. If the races were truly equal, there would be no push for race mixing. Race mixing forces some races to cater to others, while other races leech off more successful ones. And since most people prefer members of their own race, race mixing causes violent conflicts. This cultural Marxism is a gigantic fraud foisted upon humanity. Instead, separatism is natural, as red delicious apple trees and crab apple trees remain separate and are either cultivated or allowed to deplete based on their own merits or lack thereof. Therefore, complete racial and ethnic separatism, returning all members of foreign races to their countries or regions of origin. Reservations can be made for mixed families to continue their liberal social experiment. If that fails, repeal forced integration of schools and neighborhoods, outlaw affirmative action, and outlaw subsequent interracial marriages. Triple efforts to combat illegal immigration and third world immigration. Massive deportation of illegal immigrants. Everyone in the community must speak, read, and write one uniform language. Build a giant perimeter wall if not already in place. After racial and cultural self-containment is accomplished, B. National self-sufficiency. End all financial aid to other nations. Either incompetent foreign nations should shrink due to inefficiency, should not be independent nations but tributaries, or should be absorbed into another nation. This is the natural order. Those intent on helping those in other nations in non-monetary ways must require them to practice strict birth control. Dismantle all international banks such as Goldman Sachs and abolish Federal Reserve systems. Instead, rely on a national bank. Withdraw from the United Nations. Eradicate overseas companies and overseas job transfers. Eliminate as many imports and exports as is feasible. Stop doing business with anyone from a foreign country if feasible. No involvement whatsoever in any foreign war. After national self-containment is accomplished, weed out bad elements. Death penalty for all hard drug kingpins. Crocodile, heroin, cocaine, crack, PCP, crystal meth, devil's breath, fentanyl, and such like. Mass murderers, organized crime bosses, those caught torturing animals, and for treason. Castrate rapists and child molesters, then release them from prison when the remaining excess testosterone leaves their system. All known hard drug addicts forced to either enter a treatment center or prison. Mercenaries disallowed, all war profits confiscated. Eradicate gambling casinos, internet gambling, lottery tickets, racetrack betting, pawn shops, and usury. All tobacco sales prohibited. All pornographic magazines and videos outlawed, national blocks on all internet pornography, advertisement of all so-called escorts stopped, all phone sex lines disconnected. All strip clubs, erotic massage parlors, adult bookstores, and sex toy shops bulldozed into the ground. Alcohol sales prohibited. Eradicate tattoo, body piercing, and body modification shops. Eradicate degenerate and subversive movies, TV shows, music, magazines, newspapers, and books. Promote wholesome and traditional viewpoints instead. Outward signs of street gang and motorcycle gang affiliation outlawed. Public dress codes enforced. Eradicate psychiatry and psychology jobs and mental institutions. All medication prescribed by primary care physicians, buddies systems implemented to address people's mental and emotional needs. In summary, the activities of individuals must not work against the common good. After the bad elements are weeded out, address life's necessities. The state shall do its best to provide a livelihood for its men. Those whose homes were repossessed through unscrupulous or unfortunate circumstances have their homes paid for by the government so homeowners can keep them. Those whose homes fall under eminent domain get double the property value in return. Gas companies cannot turn off heat in wintertime. Those who did not pay their heating bill will make it up some other way. Since landlords do little more than take people's money, curtail the amount of rent landlords may charge. Increase legal rights of tenants, decrease those of landlords. Major crackdown on slumlords. All housing and storage units must have secure locks, be free from animal or bug infestation, ceilings must not leak, refrigerators, toilets, heating, air conditioning, and water must work. Landlords prohibited from manipulating tenants, such as dividing a house into 3 units and renting the garage to someone else, thereby collecting 4 rents, or deceiving prospective tenants with bait and switch tactics. Double the amount of homeless shelters. All items of life's necessities, such as food, clothing, shelter, medicine, etc., shall be tax-free. Social problems. Government subsidized courses educate people and coerce them to work towards dismantling the unrighteous social scale based on mere petty differences. Free classes for understanding mental conditions. Teach boys to build lifetime friendships, communicate with and support one another. Educate students in proper communication. Hospital visitors no longer restricted to immediate family. Also a buddy system for visiting people in hospitals, nursing homes, and prisons who don't get any visitors. Severely handicapped men who cannot marry receive free medicine to dampen their sex drive and free pets for companionship if desired. Agencies to organize groups of singles who cannot marry and who are without families into makeshift families under one roof. Major restructuring so companies no longer benefit from long-distance job transfers which sever relationships. Government helps moral, productive single men with an intense desire to marry to find a wife. Marriage and family cannot obtain a divorce for any reason except adultery and criminalize adultery. Same-sex marriage and adoption eradicated. Gay parades outlawed. Gay bars and bathhouses torn down. Outlaw polygamy. Organized groups of regulators paid to prevent wife and child abuse by physically punishing husbands. Severe legal penalty for deadbeat husbands, fathers, and welfare cheats. Parents legally responsible for children until age 26 and legally responsible for handicapped children for life. Put women back in the home, then close down daycare centers. These rules were the recipe for marital and family stability throughout history, while marriages are in shambles today. Return to historical and fixed gender roles. Young women given in marriage, husbands have complete authority. Women to never hold any job traditionally held by men cannot own property or vote. So-called sex changes outlawed. Abortion and artificial insemination outlawed. Pardon me. Patriarchy functioned, helped maintain the stability of the nuclear family, and remained unchallenged for many thousands or perhaps millions of years. Proper education. Separate boys and girls schools only, so students focus on learning without being sidetracked by personal drama, and 2 different curriculums appropriated towards their respective sexes. No sex education, neo-Darwinism, relativism, or other liberal agendas. Exhaustive history courses replace those which only teach selective history, which masks or besmirches historical values. Courses must have real-world relevance. Teach students logic, the art of debate, have a stronger emphasis on reading, and promote intellectual games and puzzles which stimulate intelligence and help prevent dementia in old age. Triple the number of schools for students with special needs. If schools don't radically improve, help parents have the option of homeschooling their children. Molding better people. Massive implementation of eugenics and genetic engineering. See my video on that topic. Mandatory sterilization or birth control, such as Norplant, as a condition of welfare assistance, no exceptions. In fact, mandatory sterilization for all unproductive people, criminal people, and those who had their quota of children. Major crackdown on children being a public nuisance. Corporal punishment re-implemented in home schools and elsewhere. Completely eliminate the bail system and disallow the insanity defense. These are attempts to buy, sell, and manipulate the principles of right and wrong. No television in prison, instead religious services and instruction available to all prisoners. Severe crackdown on prison rape. Convicts must learn trades and have assigned duties. Slothfulness results in solitary confinement and removal of all privileges until there is compliance. Chain gangs pick up litter and animal poop, sweep up broken glass, shovel snow, and such like. Stay tuned for part 2.